This is such a huge partaking, I think, for everybody involved. It comes with a built-in fan base. There are already people, camped outside the hotel. There are people applauding for, yes, I know, people applauding for all of these scenes yesterday. I want to know what it feels like to be a part of something that, like, literally is already built in like this. And for you, I know you're already part of a show that's, like, crazy with the fans. But so, yes, Ashley, why don't you comment on that?
Well, I get to actually see the movie for the first time at the premiere, and so I think I'm going to be, launched warp speed into the phenomenon that you're talking about. We did notice that fans were on the periphery of our shooting sets when we were making the movie in Chicago, and they were thrilled with everything from sneak peeks at the costumes to, informal snapshots of the family that we posted on Twitter, and so it's wonderful. I mean, I know what it's like to be a fan, whether it's someone who's a hero idol to me like Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and when I first met him and I had the audacity to impose on him for, spiritual direction, to loving U2's music. And that first time I saw them, it happened to be in Paris during the Joshua Tree tour, and being just literally speechless. It's kind of a gorgeous thing to be a fan of something that turns out to be actually really great.
It's a great story, but awfully disturbing in terms of, like, the factions, in terms of, soldiers being used who should be there to protect and serve are now being used, against humanity. Can you talk to me about, your thoughts on the story and what you found disturbing or what you loved?
Well, this sort of supposedly utopian construct of society where people are grouped according to their virtues is something that it came out of an apocalypse or an apocalyptic war, right? So we had this human impulse to control and have clean lines in a very highly structured environment that ultimately is going to self-destruct. So, and we're right on the verge of it becoming a fascist kind of takeover, which is what you described. So it's something that's very unnerving because it happens in our political system. It's happened in human history many times.
Absolutely.
And right now we're seeing in our own political system an emphasis on division and separateness and what makes us different than everybody else,
right.
and politicians and leaders fueling those differences to rise up passions,
right.
It's scary. And so Divergent is, from a political sense, really takes those things to the extreme and is really disturbing in that way.
Did you guys have sort of philosophical discussions about this type of thing, where society's headed, the difference with the factions, the idea that your ideas could be seen as, anti-society or a danger to humanity? Did you guys have those kind of discussions?
I think for me, if I may present myself as being as dim as I actually am, the brilliance of Veronica Roth's work is only now beginning to dawn. So I entered the story as a mother who is embedded within this very intimate and poignant family story. The universal and archetypal themes of my desperate need to belong, yet my equally compelling drive to individuate are in a tension. So all of that meant a lot to me. But when you all were talking just now, and we were talking about categorizing according to virtue, I mean, we do the opposite in our prison system. We group convicts according to their crimes, and it's a prison. Wow. And then you connect that to the fact that Triss realizes that the guards are there to keep people within the overall community and not about keeping outsiders out. And so that's a prison. And, like, did Veronica think about all this stuff when she wrote it?
She's brilliant.
It's really extraordinary how much can be unpacked if one chooses to experience the film in that way.
It's multi-layered.
Or
it
it's
really
a great
is.
action
the whole
adventure love
of
story.
Fear in, everything is based on fear, and the movie's about confronting your fears and embracing your fears in order to become your true self. At the same time, it's about a society that's essentially dominated by fear, and fear of the outside. There's that high wall, and there's never any awareness of an attacking force on the outside.
Out there.
It's just assumed that whatever's out there is a threat, and that keeps order in society, which is so much what happens in our human societies. We make the other the existential threat.
Yes.
And the less we know about them, the better, because as long as we don't know anything about them, our leaders can keep us,
we can
tell us, we can demonize them, which is...
Or we can kill them because they're divergent.
Yep, there you go.
We're out of time.
That was an
This is
intense- That was an
awesome.
intense
Thank you so
conversation.